Hello everyone. So today's topic is transmission electron microscopy. We are starting with the transmission electron microscopy, also known as TEM. T for transmission, E for electron, and M for microscopy. Before proceeding with this lecture, I would like to suggest you people to go through another lecture, that is electron microscopy, in which I have explained you the principle for the SEM and TEM. That is a very important topic because in case you are not aware about the basic principle, it would be tough for you people to understand the transmission electron microscopy. Please go with that video. So starting now with TEM, why we are using TEM? TEM, it is a technique, TEM, it is a technique used for analysis of internal microstructure, internal structure of something. It is also used in the analysis of nanomaterials, that may be nanofiber, that may be nanoparticle, that may be internal microstructure of the cell. So for the smaller size particle, the nano size particle, we usually use TEM, that is transmission electron microscopy. So coming to the instrumentation of the same. In the instrumentation at the top here, we are having the electron gun. Electron gun, why we are using the electron gun? This is the source to produce the electrons. Electron gun is used to produce the electron. In this electron gun, we use tungsten filament. Okay. And tungsten filament in this gun emit beam of electron at a very high voltage, that is around 80 to 300 kilovolt. So why we use tungsten filament in this electron gun? Because it emits the beam of electron of an accelerating voltage, that is around 80 to 300 kilovolt, while in the case of SEM, we were using the tungsten filament there also, but it was using the accelerating voltage of around 1 to 30 kilovolt only. 1 to 30 kilovolt, and here we are using the voltage 80 to 300 kilovolt. High accelerating voltage is applied in this case for production of high intensity electron beam. We require high intensity electron beam. I'm writing it over here. High intensity electron beam. So that's why we are using a very high voltage, and it can penetrate the sample up to thickness of 1 micrometer even. This high voltage beam of electrons can penetrate the sample up to thickness of 1 micrometer even. Okay. Then after that electron gun, I would also like to tell you about the operating condition. The operating condition for TEM is also the vacuum condition, as we have used in the case of SEM, so that air does not interfere with the sample results. Now coming to another part, that is anode. Okay. Anode, what is anode? It is a positively charged. Anode is positively charged. So as it is positively charged, it will attract the electron from the electron beam, attract the electrons from the electron beam, because electrons are negatively charged. So it will be attracted by a positively charged anode. Okay. And when these are attracted by the anode, these electrons from the electron beam are attracted towards the anode. They ultimately will accelerate the speed of electron towards the condenser lens. It will accelerate the speed of this electron towards the condenser lens. Okay. Now what will this condenser lens do? These are the electromagnetic lenses, condenser lenses and electromagnetic lens, and they will focus the electron beam towards the specimen, towards your sample. Here your sample is placed. This is your sample. So what is condenser lens doing? It will focus the electron beam. Just take me a different color. It will focus the electron beam towards the sample. Okay. And if we compare the condenser lens between SEM and the condenser lens used in TEM, the number of condenser lenses are much more higher as compared to SEM. The number of condenser lenses used in this technique, in this TEM, transmission electron microscopy, is much more higher as compared to SEM. So electron beam is more accelerated in this case. Electron beam is more accelerated and it can easily penetrate the sample. Electron beam can easily penetrate this sample. Okay, for sample preparation, expertise is required for sample preparation. In this case, sample holder in TEM is around 3 mm in diameter only. Sample holder used in TEM is around 3 mm in diameter and up to 200 micrometer in thickness. 200 micrometer in thickness. Okay. So there are 4 steps in the sample preparation. Let me write it over the next slide. There are 4 stages, you can say, or 4 steps in the sample preparation in TEM. Sample preparation. First step is fixation of the sample. This can be done in 2 ways. This can be done in 2 ways. Okay. The first way is chemical fixation. Chemical fixation. And the another way is cryofixation. In chemical fixation, we generally use glutaraldehyde. In chemical fixation, we use glutaraldehyde, which is a chemical. Okay, so it is named as chemical fixation. While in case of cryofixation, sample is freezed in this case. Freezed by using either liquid nitrogen or liquid helium you can also use. Okay, or liquid helium, which is not obtained so easily. So we can take liquid neon too, whatever is available. Basically we use liquid nitrogen for the freezing purpose. Okay. Then the another step, we were talking about the 4 steps now. First step is fixation. Then the second step is rinsing of the sample. Rinsing is done by using suitable buffer solution. Then the third step is secondary fixation. It is used for increasing the stability of the internal structure. Of the sample. Stability of internal structure of the sample. It can be done by treating the sample with osmium tetroxide, that is OSO4. Osmium tetroxide. Okay, it can be done using osmium tetroxide. Then in the end we use it's the step dehydration. For dehydration purpose you can use any solvent like acetone or ethanol. For dehydration purpose. Then this is all about the sample preparation. After sample preparation, again we are moving to the instrumentation part. After sample preparation, sample can be placed in the sample holder. Okay, you place the sample in the holder. Now electron beams strike the sample holder and it will pass through the sample obviously. Transmitted electron now from the sample will go to objective aperture lens, to this lens. This transmitted electron, the electrons that are transmitted from the sample will now go to objective aperture lens. Okay? Objective lens is also an electromagnetic lens. It is also electromagnetic lens. And this will focus the transmitted beam towards the projector lens. It will focus the transmitted beam towards the projector lens. Projector lens will magnify this transmitted beam. It will magnify the transmitted beam coming from this objective aperture lens. From here it is coming now, and focus them towards the fluorescent screen, and focus the transmitted beam towards the fluorescent screen. If fluorescent screen is used, then image could be seen on the fluorescent screen only. We can see the image over here on the fluorescence screen. In case we are using the detector, then the output may be forwarded to the CPU, where the data will be processed and toward the monitor screen, and in that case you can see the TEM image on the monitor screen also. TAM imaging modes. Now coming to the TAM imaging modes. TAM imaging modes. Generally, we are using 4 type of TAM imaging modes. First one is bright field imaging. Second, we are using the electron diffraction. Third one, we are using the high resolution TAM. That is, we can also write it as high for HR resolution TEM. And last one is scanning TAM. TEM. We can also rewrite it as STEM, scanning TAM. Okay. In the very first one, bright field imaging, electron, after passing through the sample, they may get scattered or they may not get scattered. There are two conditions. When the electron pass through the sample, then they may get scattered or they may not get scattered. There are two possibilities. Okay? If it gets scattered, then again there are two possibilities. The scattering may be elastic scattering, the scattering may be inelastic scattering. If it gets scattered, there are again two possibilities: elastic scattering or the inelastic scattering. In case of elastic scattering, there will be no loss of energy. Okay, same wavelength will be achieved, and the angle is slightly different only. The angle is slightly different in case of elastic scattering. However, in the case of inelastic scattering, due to loss of energy, wavelength is also changed, and there is a change in angle also. Change energy, change wavelength, and changed angle, in this case in elastic scattering. Now the unscattered electron may not get scattered. These unscattered electron are used in bright field imaging. These are used in bright field imaging because bright field imaging scattered electron are blocked by the objective lens. So unscattered electron forms the TAM image. Unscattered electron are used for forming the TEM image in this case. So we can say in bright field imaging, actively scattering areas of the specimen will be showing darker contrast in bright field imaging. However, when we come to electron diffraction, elastic scattered electron or diffracted electron, elastic diffracted electrons having the same energy and the same wavelength will be focused by the lens, and these will form the TAM image. These electrons will form the TAM image. In bright field imaging, unscattered electron were forming the TEM image. Unscattered electron. In electron diffraction, elastic scattered electron are forming the TEM image. Then we are moving to HLTEM. If we are moving to HLTEM, if the sample is below 100 nanometer, then elastic and inelastic scattered electron waves interact with crystal lattice and form complex interference pattern which are visible at 4 lakh intensity or more. High resolution image is obtained in this case. Image is obtained. So what is happening over here? If sample is below 100 nanometer, then the elastic and inelastic scattered electron waves, they interact with the crystal lattice and they form a complex interference pattern. So we receive a TEM image over here. In scanning TEM, it contains scanning coils to scan the sample. It contains scanning coils to scan the sample. So it's all about TEM. Hope it's clear to you. I'll request once again to you, please go through the basic principle. Unless and until you go through the same, you will not be able to catch up with this lecture. And if you like the lecture, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Thank you. Thank you so much. Your review is important to me. Thank you.